Welcome to a breathtaking journey into the hidden world of birds. Have you ever wondered how tiny creatures with feathers manage to build some of the most astonishing structures in nature? We're not talking about skyscrapers or suspension bridges. We're talking about nests, nature's miniature masterpieces. They're creative, functional, and sometimes downright bizarre. Today, we'll introduce you to 15 bird species whose nest-building skills could rival even the most seasoned human architects. If you're someone who's endlessly curious about the wonders of the animal kingdom, then this is the place for you. Subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon, and come along with us on wild adventures into nature's most incredible designs. Now, let's dive into the spectacular world of extraordinary bird nests. Trust us, you won't forget what you're about to see. The woodpecker, hammer, chisel, and pantry in one. Let's start with a familiar face, the woodpecker. At first glance, it may seem like they're just obsessively hammering away at trees to find insects. But in reality, woodpeckers are true wood engineers. They don't just peck, they carve. Their nesting cavities are meticulously designed multi-purpose homes, a nursery for their young and, believe it or not, a hidden pantry for storing food. Imagine living in an apartment where hidden compartments pop out from the walls with a tap. Perfect little food stashes tucked away in every corner. That's exactly what woodpeckers do. With their powerful beaks, they chisel out chambers deep enough to stay safe from predators and shielded from the weather. Whether it's rain, cold, or heat, inside the tree, conditions stay remarkably stable, giving both parent and chick a major survival advantage. So the next time you hear that iconic tapping, know this: it's not just noise, it's architecture in action. A brilliant construction plan hardwired into a bird's brain, no degree required. The Sociable Weaver, skyscrapers of the bird world. Picture a massive building, big enough to house dozens, even hundreds of families. Not in a city, but perched atop a tree or telephone pole. Welcome to the world of the Sociable Weaver, nature's most communal architects. Found in the savannas of southern Africa, these remarkable birds construct enormous shared nests that resemble oversized haystacks from afar. But inside, a highly organized maze of chambers and hallways, with each weaver family occupying its own apartment. It's a marvel of natural design. What may appear chaotic on the outside reveals astonishing order within. Every tunnel leads with purpose to a distinct nesting area. What's more impressive, these structures grow over generations. Birds inherit and expand the nest, turning it into a multi-level megastructure, an avian condominium that's cool in summer, warm in winter, and shockingly energy efficient thanks to its insulating grass roof. Think humans invented co-living? Think again. The Sociable Weaver perfected the eco-skyscraper long before we ever poured concrete. The Montezuma Oropendola, hanging baskets in the treetops. Imagine walking through a tropical rainforest in Central or South America and looking up, only to see dozens of woven baskets gently swaying from the canopy. Those aren't decorations. They're the nests of the Montezuma Oropendola, one of nature's most elegant engineers. These birds craft intricate hanging nests from vines and plant fibers, suspending them high on slender branches like natural mobiles. But they're more than just pretty. The swaying design serves multiple purposes: predator protection. Snakes and tree-climbing cats think twice before venturing onto these fragile limbs. Early warning system. If a branch is disturbed, every hanging nest starts to swing, alerting the colony. Safe cradle. Up in the breeze, the chicks stay dry, cool, and free from ground pests.
When you see a colony of Montezuma Oropendolas in action, fluttering yellow tails, echoing calls, and their nests dancing in the air, it's like watching a living wind chime symphony high above the forest floor.
The Fantail, a nest that doubles as a dance stage. In the world of the Fantail, family Rhipiduridae, the nest is more than a nursery, it's a stage. These agile, restless birds, found across Asia and Australasia, are as much performers as they are architects. Their nests, shaped like neat little cups, are built from delicate twigs and spider's silk, lightweight yet remarkably strong. But what truly sets them apart is how the males decorate them. To impress a mate, they adorn the nest with shimmering feathers, colorful petals, or even scraps of paper, whatever catches the eye. And then begins the show. The male flits, twirls, and fans his tail in dazzling moves around this decorated stage, turning his creation into a theater for courtship. It's not just about aesthetics. Every movement is choreographed, every sparkle intentional. The result? A miniature masterpiece of form and function. A nest that doesn't just cradle life, but attracts it through the magic of movement and color. The Baya Weaver, nature's finest basket architect. The Baya Weaver, Plosius philippinus, is Asia's answer to the master craftsman, except this one builds with his beak. From tall grasses and palm fronds, the male weaves intricate pear-shaped nests that dangle from tree branches like ornaments. Each nest includes a long entrance tunnel leading to a rounded chamber, safe, shaded, and hard for predators to access. But this is more than just home building. It's a courtship challenge. Males construct multiple nests, sometimes several in a row, each serving as a model home for potential mates. The females inspect them meticulously, evaluating structural integrity, design, and comfort. If a nest fails to impress, it's torn down and rebuilt, again and again, until it meets her standards. This isn't just survival, it's an architectural pageant where only the most precise weaver earns the right to raise a family. In the world of the Baya Weaver, beauty and function decide the future. The Masked Weaver, a master of ventilation and climate control. A close cousin of the Baya Weaver, the southern masked weaver takes nest building to the next level, especially when it comes to climate engineering. In the scorching heat of sub-Saharan Africa, this bird builds with purpose. He carefully positions his nest to catch optimal airflow, using soft but durable grasses that won't tear in high winds. The result? A hanging basket that stays cool even under the blazing sun. Some nests even include clever features like overhangs or double chambers to reduce heat and protect the young from the elements. And here's the twist. Once breeding season ends, many nests are abandoned or torn down, only to be rebuilt next year, better and more precisely tuned to the conditions and the female's evolving preferences. In the world of the masked weaver, each nest is not just a shelter, it's a prototype. Every season is another lesson in the art of natural architecture. The Hummingbird, a nest with a built-in stretch band. Tiny, iridescent, and endlessly inventive, hummingbirds, Trochilidae, aren't just aerial acrobats. They're also ingenious architects of elastic engineering. Their cup-shaped nests are crafted from spider silk, plant down, and lichen. But here's the brilliant part. This combination allows the nest to stretch as the chicks grow. Think of it as nature's expandable bassinet, soft, flexible, and always adapting. From the outside, these nests are camouflaged so precisely with lichen that they blend seamlessly with the branch they rest on. Predators often miss them entirely, mistaking them for a knot or growth on the tree. Considering the hummingbird's minuscule size, the precision of construction is nothing short of astounding. Each fiber is meticulously woven, every speck of lichen placed with purpose. This nest isn't just shelter. It's a marvel of miniature design,
where softness meets strength and adaptability becomes a survival strategy.
The Jacana, a floating home on Lilypads. Why build on solid ground when you can raise a family atop the water? That's exactly the philosophy of the African Jacana, a bird famous for its long toes that let it walk on water, or more precisely, across floating lily pads. Using bits of aquatic vegetation, the Jacana constructs a delicate raft-like nest right on the surface of ponds and lakes. It anchors this floating structure by tucking plant stems beneath nearby stalks, keeping the entire houseboat stable and in place. Predators tend to avoid open water, giving the Jacana's nest a natural moat of protection. But the real genius lies in its buoyancy. The nest adjusts with rising or falling water levels, ensuring the eggs remain dry even in heavy rains. It's a masterpiece of flexible design. No concrete, no foundation, just a finely tuned equilibrium in a shifting, liquid world. The house martin, clay, spit, and ingenious design. It might sound a bit unsavory, but the house martin, Delichon urbica, is a true mud architect. These small birds build their distinctive half-dome nests directly on vertical surfaces, walls, cliffs, under rooftops. Using nothing but wet soil, clay, and their own sticky saliva. Each nest is crafted from hundreds, sometimes thousands, of tiny mud pellets. The birds carry them one by one in their beaks and carefully plaster them into place. Over time, this meticulous effort forms a compact, sturdy cup with a narrow entry hole, offering safety and insulation. Though often unwelcome near homes due to the mess below, house martins play a vital ecological role by controlling insect populations. And from an engineering standpoint, their nests are marvels of natural construction, wind-resistant, weatherproof, and all held together by nothing more than mud and instinct. The Hamerkop, nature's architect. The Hamerkop, Scopus umbretta, named for its hammer-shaped head, might not look like an architectural genius at first glance. But when it comes to building nests, this bird thinks big, really big. Some of its constructions can reach up to 2 meters in diameter. Composed of thousands of sticks, branches, and clumps of mud. The result? A domed fortress so solid that theoretically it could support the weight of a human. Inside, the Hamerkop carves out a cozy nesting chamber, often lined with damp mulch to help regulate temperature and humidity. A natural climate control system. Even more astonishing, the Hamerkop doesn't stop at one nest. It may build several each season, possibly to confuse predators or competitors. In a world where many birds prefer efficiency, the Hamerkop stands out as the avian builder that proves, sometimes, size really does matter. The Tailorbird, master of leaf stitching. While the Hamerkop builds on a grand scale, the Tailorbird, Orthotomus, works in delicate detail. These tiny songbirds are nature's seamstresses, using spider silk or plant fibers to sew the edges of leaves together, not unlike a person mending a tear in a shirt. With their needle-sharp beaks, they puncture small holes along the edges of large green leaves, then thread natural fibers through them to pull the leaf edges into a tight fold. Inside this leafy cocoon, they build a soft, hidden nest, well camouflaged, safe, and barely visible from the outside. It's a stunning feat of biological engineering on a miniature scale. No loud hammering, no heavy lifting, just surgical precision, fine motor skills, and an instinctual blueprint passed down through generations. The Tailorbird reminds us that sometimes the smallest hands create the most exquisite works. The Stork, the sky-high skyscraper of the bird world. Perched atop church spires, chimneys, or ancient trees, wherever a stork nest looms high above, you're likely looking at decades of architectural legacy. Storks are loyal to their nesting sites, returning year after year to the same location, adding more twigs with each season. What begins as a modest base soon grows into a massive structure, sometimes weighing hundreds of kilograms. Some nests are so old they reveal layers like a geological timeline, each ring of twigs marking another year. And woven among the branches, one may sadly spot traces of modern life. Phone charger cables, fabric scraps, even plastic bags. Yet, despite the debris, the concept remains remarkable. A towering home, part nesting ground, part lookout post. While most birds settle close to the earth, the stork prefers the penthouse suite, a true pioneer of vertical living in the avian world. The magpie. Fortress nest with the soft-core magpies, pika pika, are master builders of fortified homes. Their nests are dome-shaped structures, often reinforced with thorns and sharp twigs that form a protective outer layer. At first glance, these prickly fortresses may seem severe, but they serve a vital purpose: defense. Carefully nestled among dense branches and layered with moss or roots, the interior remains surprisingly cozy. Topping it all off is a thorny canopy, shielding the nest like a spiked helmet. Intriguingly, magpies are also known to decorate their homes with shiny objects, a trait that earned them a reputation as collectors. These glittering finds don't just add flair. They can help reinforce the nest's structure. The result? A cleverly engineered shelter that's both impenetrable and inviting. A perfect harmony of security and comfort in the treetops. The pond heron. Floating homes with anchored foundations. In the quiet wetlands where reeds whisper with the breeze, the pond heron, such as Arleroof species, builds something deceptively simple but brilliantly engineered. These birds construct their nests directly above shallow waters, weaving reeds, horsetail, and other aquatic plants into a sturdy, floating platform. At first glance, it may not seem as impressive as the elaborate structures of a jacana, but the real genius lies beneath. The nest is anchored with plant stems to fixed points underwater, preventing it from drifting away, no matter how restless the surface becomes. What's more, the surrounding reeds act like natural camouflage, shielding the nest from predators and creating a cool, moist microclimate that's perfect for incubating eggs and raising chicks. It may not be a grand fortress, but it's a masterclass in function and balance, proof that in nature, subtle solutions often work best. The Swiftlet, vertical sculptors of the cave walls. High on the jagged cliffs of Southeast Asia, or deep within shadowy caves, lives a tiny bird with an astonishing talent. The Swiftlet doesn't gather twigs or leaves like most birds. Instead, it builds its nest from one unlikely source, its own hardened saliva. With patience and precision, the Swiftlet spins its secretion into a delicate half cup, attaching it securely to vertical rock faces. No glue, no mortar, just instinct and biology. These are the famous edible birds' nests prized in Asian cuisine, though their origin is far more magical than most realize. What's even more remarkable? These birds navigate pitch-black cave systems using echolocation, like bats. They have claimed the vertical world, carving out homes in places no other bird would dare. In their quiet, echo-filled world, the Swiftlet shows us just how far evolution can push creativity, turning spit into shelter and darkness into opportunity. As we've seen, bird nests are so much more than just piles of twigs. Some are floating towers in the sky, Others are hidden fortresses or architectural masterpieces woven from thousands of grass strands. Whether reinforced with thorns or spun from spider silk, these structures prove that creativity, engineering, and craftsmanship aren't uniquely human traits. Each bird species follows its own blueprint, tailored to its environment with astonishing precision. So the next time we marvel at our skyscrapers and city skylines, perhaps we should pause and consider. Even the smallest bird might have outdone us long ago in both beauty and practicality. Nature, it seems, is full of silent genius, hidden in branches, stitched into leaves, or clinging to cave walls. We hope you enjoyed this journey through the extraordinary world of nests. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the animal kingdom. Thanks for watching, and stay curious about the small wonders of our planet.